Butch joins me now. I'm fired up. A lot of good things to talk about. We're going to get to the Celtics, who have me really upset, but we're going to start with the Red Sox because you got to start believing at this point. I mean, it's the core of magic, a team that typically starts fast. It's rare for that team to slide all the way back to the pack and fall out of contention. This looks like a team that's going to be in contention throughout the summer, and so far your reasons are what? Then I'll give you mine.
Starting pitching. Starting pitching. Their starting pitchers have 16 wins. That's the most in Major League Baseball. And look no further than Nick Pivetta today. He's 7-0 in his 9 starts as a member of the Red Sox. And by the way, the guy they got in the deal, Chaim Bloom, got Connor Seabolt, who's in the minors, is supposed to be a better pitcher than Nick Pivetta. He's your second best pitcher on this team behind Eddie Rodriguez right now.
And Chris Sale is not back. Here's my key. I do think it's Alex Cora, because I think whether you're a coach or a manager, you have to do a couple of things. You have to spot the big name talents and make sure that they do what you need them to do. And I think he's done that. He's done that with Devers. He's done that with Bogarts, who we'll get more into in detail shortly. He's done that with J.D. Martinez, gotten him back on track. No, that's the next tier. I don't put Verdugo up there yet, but he knows that he's got to work with a guy like Verdugo and get a certain amount of production out of him. He's got to work with the role players, and I'll still put Verdugo in that role player category with this team, and he's got a way to make people understand their role on the team, and he's got them all pointed in the right direction. It's like, all right, Xander, you good? JD, you good? Rafi, you good? All right, go do your thing. I got to work with these guys.
You know why? That's who he was as a baseball player. He played every position. He played every role on the team. He was a 25th guy, no disrespect to him, that's what he was, but he delivered when he played. And by the way, those 4 guys you mentioned, Verdugo, JD, Bogarts, and Devers, that's as good as a 2 through 5 in baseball as there is. It really is. And that brings us to Bogarts and the way he's playing. He's the MVP of baseball right now, isn't he? I mean, yeah, you got Ronald Acuna. Yeah, you got Fernando Tatis. They're in the National League. Who's playing better in the American League than Xander Bogaerts?
You could conceivably argue J.D., Shohei Ohtani, who's done a great job out in L.A. He had 10 home runs, middle of this week, so he was right there atop the charts with J.D. But Xander, all around, has been spectacular, not just at the plate, but also defensively.
He's taken a leap every year, though, Tom, and this leap might be pretty significant. His defense was questioned before. The double play he made in Baltimore last night, that's top 10 stuff. I didn't see SportsCenter's top 10 plays today, but that had to be 1, 2, or 3. It had to be the way he's playing. I just think, Bogarts is a guy where everybody's hitting home runs. He still slaps the ball to right field. He leads the major league in 2-strike hits. And he's still jacking the ball out of the ballpark when he has to.
So they got one more against the Orioles. Then it gets fun, because now you have an Oakland team coming to town. And Oakland is the second best team in the American League.
Yep.
So early on, it's mid-May, you've got a really intriguing series between teams who may see each other again in the postseason.
Well, the final point about the Red Sox is this. Chicago White Sox, you and I agree, I think are the best team in the American League. We thought that at the beginning of the year.
Going in.
Yankees and Rays in your division. The rest of the American League stinks, Tom.
Right now.
They stink.
It's early.
No, they're not going to get better. Cleveland's not going to get better. Minnesota's not going to get better. They stink. The Tigers, the Red Sox should make the playoffs and should win the division.
Very interesting. Should we turn the page and talk a little bit about the Celtics? Because that's the team that's got me fired up.
Do we have to?
We do, because I'm out. I'm out.
They lost you?
I'm out.
When did they lose you?
You can't lose to the Bulls and then come home and lose today. Can't happen. There's urgency associated with each and every one of these games, and I don't want to hear that you're undermanned or that Jaylen Brown's not there and, it's going to be different when he comes back. Guess what? It has not happened all year. I want you to tell me a team that was expected to do well before a season started, as the Celtics were expected to do well, played as they've played throughout the regular season, and all of a sudden snapped it into gear and said
postseason. They're 2007 New York Giants.
Well, they weren't expected to be a Super Bowl contender. So, yeah, do bad teams or mediocre teams make a run? I don't put the Celtics in that category.
No, I know. But they have been in the Eastern Finals 3 out of the last 4 years. Look, they're in the play-in now. So you want to talk about urgency? They're going to have urgency very quickly. They lose one game, they're going to be out. They win one game, they got to win another one.
Are you convinced they'd win that game? I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
How can you be convinced they'd win any game right now?
So if they're the 7 and they play the 10, that means the 10's got to beat them twice. I give them an opportunity to win 2 games against that team. I think it could happen, but I don't think it'll be easy. I don't think they do it quickly. I put the Celtics as a team that gets into the 16-team tournament and is eliminated in the first round.
Well, those 3 teams, the 7 through 10, are the Hornets, the Wizards, and the Pacers. They play the Pacers on the 7 through 10. I don't think they beat the Pacers. I don't.
That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that we're talking about that with this team at this point, and it makes you wonder, as crazy as it sounds, if the great players that Danny Ainge got are not the right fit for Brad Stevens. And if not so, as great of a guy as he is and as level-headed as he is, do they have to make a switch?
Well, it makes me wonder why we haven't moved on to the Bruins, who deserve more attention at this point, okay?
All right, go.
So the Bruins, here's what's interesting about the Bruins. They're clicking on all cylinders, even though they lost yesterday. They got 2 games left, Monday night at home against the Islanders, then the Caps. If you look at the playoff format in the NHL, it's 1 through 4 in each division. So the Bruins are playing the Capitals. It just depends. It's likely that they're not going to have home ice advantage. Then they're going to play the Penguins. So that's the road.
Very tough road, but it's a talented team, and if they catch lightning in a bottle at the right time, I don't put it past them to make a run, and I do think you see Swayman play some games in the postseason.
I wonder, I doubt this, I doubt it very much, but I wonder if Bruce Cassidy and Don Sweeney say, I tell you what, Tuukka's not signed after the end of this year anyway. We're going to start Swayman in the playoffs till he loses.
Quick hook, and I'll bring this back to when that worked. I was in Detroit, 08. They had Chris Osgood, they had Hasek. Hasek was great. Hasek started. He struggled. They pulled Hasek. They put in Ozzy. Ozzy took the team to the finals, all the way to the championship. Now, I know Ozzy was a great goalie. He's probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame. We can debate that another day. But I don't see it being anything different if Tuukka struggles for them to make a switch to Swayman under those circumstances.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, the Northeastern baseball team. You were out there this week. 17 in a row, Butch.
17 in a row. Yeah, Tom, I have a feature coming up in the next segment to talk about it. Here's what you need to know about this team. Mike Glavin's the head coach. Yes, Tommy's brother, the famous elite of Massachusetts baseball from Bill Ricca. He's got this team playing loose. They like each other. They hit like crazy. Where do you see this kid, Jared Dupree? He hit one over the houses yesterday. And their starting pitching is as good as any team in the nation. They got it going on. They've won 17 in a row, Tom.
Pretty good.
It's a great story.
Thank you very much. We're both a little fired up. We had a lot to get into today. Stay with us after the break. We're going to hear from Butch on Northeastern. The Huskies howling 17 in a row.